Okay, so the recording has started. Again, my name is Lindsay Williams. I am the lead planner currently for the Sunnyside Complete Community. I also am on the AIA board for the Houston chapter as well as the HNOMA board. I was very excited when the City of Houston decided to take on the ADU HOU challenge, and Lynn submitted a grant to AARP that we were awarded. So we are very excited to take on something that's kind of new and different for our department. We're gathered today to answer any of your questions that you may have had in between signing up or that you foresee in the future before your submissions. The live Q&A will be available throughout. So at any point, if you have a question, please feel free to use that as well. Just virtual etiquette, of course, making sure we mute ourselves. If you would like to speak, feel free to raise your hand or use the chat function. It's a pretty intimate environment, so we can get to those. And I can also make note of anybody who would like to speak, and you can use your mic and do that as well. So to kick this off, AARP awarded this grant, and this project was funded by them with $5,000. That includes workshop, the design competition, a production of a design book, also a how-to guide, and a website that will all be taking place from this grant. So important dates for the design competition that you already know. Friday, August 27th, the competition was today. We're having the Q&A session. Friday, September 3rd is the last day to register. Monday, September 13th is the submission deadline. Monday, October 4th, the public voting will open. Friday, October 5th, the public voting will close. And Friday, October 29th, we will announce winners. The public, this competition is a little different in the fact that the public will be the main jury of this, and time deadline for the 13th. True architect. 11:59 p.m. is the deadline for the submission on September 13th. So right before that midnight hour on the 14th, as long as you get it uploaded into your folders that you will receive, the links to your folders, you will meet the deadline of submission. Are there any other questions just around these general dates and information? No? Okay, I'm going to move forward. Oh, does someone have a question? No? There was a caller, 713.
Yeah, I had a question about the submission. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was wondering how big the file size can be so it can be uploaded.
So we'll send that in the design packet. We're exploring right now the option of boards and what size will our website allow, which would still give visibility. As of right now, it's looking like 18 by 24 is about the scale size of the actual design boards that it will upload. In terms of images, those can be, sorry, our graphic designer listed, but our graphic designer will list exact measurements of what we can accept and what will be able to be used and in your design packets. We'll spell out how many of each views that will be required and needed, as well as what sizes and pixelation for each submission component.
All right, thank you.
No problem. So our first FAQ is how will I submit my entry? the City of Houston will send you a Microsoft OneDrive folder link. Only your team will have access to your team's link, so I would not encourage forwarding that to anyone or sending that out to the masses if you're afraid of any copyright issues or someone altering your files or stealing your information. But you will receive that link by the 4th. That does not mean you won't receive it before then, but the 4th is you will definitely have your link to your folders to upload any submissions. The submission requirements, there will be your final design preparation. We're going to provide a template for the book pages. Does the neighborhood have to allow ADU? No, so I'm sorry. There was a question that came in the chat as I was talking. Does the neighborhood have to allow ADU? No, this ADU is for hypothetical address 100 Planning and Development Department, Houston 77003. It does not have to be neighborhood specific, and you don't have to base it around any deed restrictions in any neighborhoods.
Can I add, just for clarity, the only restrictions we have would be deed restrictions. And as Lindsay's mentioned, that would be neighborhoods specific. So neighborhood by neighborhood, it does not blanket across the city. I want to make sure to make that distinction because there are some Houstonians that feel to keep their neighborhood character, they do not want ADUs. And so the great thing about this design competition and the availability of the plans is we're not making anyone do anything on their property. It's open to anyone that wants to add an ADU and where that's permissible, that does not violate deed restrictions. Just want to make that, I may state that again before the end of this presentation. Thank you, Lindsay.
No problem. There's a question also in the chat. Are winners determined solely by public voting, or will there be a jury/internal review as well? So yes, there will be a jury/internal review based on what the public has picked, just to ensure that the final okay is given by the Planning and Development Department, as well as the other departments in the City of Houston. We anticipate the crowd favorite winner being the winner overall, but if there are any issues, the Planning and Development Department does hold the right for the final internal review. And the things that will be that the winner will be juried on in terms of the final planning and development review will also be in the design packet. So we'll list the things that would, if you are voted favorite by the public, we'll list the things that would knock you out. One of those would be if the design is bigger than 900 square feet, right? Because we're looking for something that currently fits in the ordinance. If that design is outside of the current building standards that are set for the City of Houston, those things we couldn't go with the crowd favorite at that point. We would have to pick the second place winner. So yes, we would like to just depend heavily on the public voting for the winner of that, but there will be an internal review for final, just to make sure that everything is in compliance. You want to add anything to that, Lynn?
No, I think you covered that quite well. Thank you.
Another question from Devin. As per the brief and potential availability of plans, how will code enforcement address drainage, infrastructure improvements, etc.? In other words, will it be addressed as a one-stop or full permit reviews? Great question. So this is a little, it's taken kind of the shape as a model home would. So these plans will only go through plan review on the early stages in terms of, and they will check your architectural set for code requirements. But in terms of structural plans, the parking space, infrastructure requirements, things that will come after the homeowner has decided to select this ADU, they will be responsible for that. Also, there is a brief description that we will put on the plans that will remove any liability from you or the city if a homeowner chooses to use these plans to construct. We are encouraging them to seek out the designer for each plan. We know that CA is a really important phase in making sure that designs are complete to standards. So we're encouraging them, if they choose to build this ADU and choose to go with the plan selected or one in the book, to make sure they seek out the architect and a general contractor and the correct professionals to create the remaining sets of their plans and secure their permits. Does that answer your question, Devin? Do we have a draft of the language? Yes. Can we, if I can get a hold to it quickly, I will drop it in here. Which of course I can't now. But I will add the draft language that will be placed on the plan for the winner into the design packets, just in case, just so we can continue moving forward. Or if Lynn, if you're able to grab that and drop it in the chat, that would be helpful. Yes, the language is also covered by legal. It has gone through our legal department to ensure that no liability will fall on the architect and or the city. These plans are offered just as a model, and they will be a model that the homeowner can use to help navigate them in the process of building an ADU. Several of our residents have expressed issues or just lack of knowledge of how to secure plans and move a process forward. So we're just trying to help with taking away, one, the initial phase of coming up with the design and the initial plan review phase. Awesome. And just so everyone knows, since we're talking about it, I know it's not what's on the screen. I'll go to the questions part. The plans that are required for single family residents, especially one that is this size by the city of Houston, are not really strenuous. There will be interior elevations, exterior elevations, a wall section, a floor plan, a plumbing plan that is only really indicating where the plumbing fixtures go, and an electrical and lighting plan that show lighting placement and where electrical outlets will be placed. There's no one-line diagrams required or load diagrams required as well. For in terms of MEP or any other trade drawings, those inspections take place on site for single family residents in Houston, and the front end structural and infrastructure plans will need to be secured by the homeowner as well as a contractor and someone that will take them through the construction administration phase. So just want you all to clearly understand the scope of the construction drawings that will be required for this residence. Are there any other questions around those? And Lynn included in the chat that the draft language will be included in the design packet, but she included a link to the document just to let you know it would be very similar to what you see there. Okay, in your design package, you'll receive background information about the grant, again, just to kind of give you a clear picture of where all the money is allocated, what's going on, and what's the purpose of this grant and this awesome initiative that you are choosing to participate in. Links to the press release regarding the grant. The City of Houston current building codes and relevant ordinances for ADU. The page template for a book. We will send you the template and ask you to kind of lay out your page. Those are subject to change though, but we would ask you to just do a rough layout of what you think your page in this design book would look like. And a comprehensive list of submission requirements that will include the number of photos needed, the actual views, the format of how those photos and/or files need to be sent, a narrative word count, the desired views that we're looking for, and the scales.
Lindsay, there is a question in the chat that asks, are we limited in the number of designs or categories that we can submit?
Categories, no. You can submit under as many categories as you would like. I don't think we set a limit on the number of designs, so nope. You can enter as many as you would like. If you do wish to submit separate designs, I would encourage you to register again though, and not to put them all in the same folder. So maybe it's, and I'm just using your name, but maybe it's been Miracle 2 or Arctangent Team 2 for each design concept you all would like to submit. Another frequently asked question was the City of Houston has a minimum parking requirement for ADUs, which they're also exploring in the Livable Places. You are not required to submit anything that has to do with parking. We just need the design and the concept for the ADU itself. There's another question in the chat. Will P&D in conjunction with legal allow for royalties, percentage, or flat fee to be secured based on per unit complete built? So no. As of now, the way it's built is that we know we have the $3,000 funding, and we will pay for the initial plans, and we are encouraging the homeowner to then reach out to those designers to, take the design through CA phase and construction as well. But we do not currently have any budget allocated for contingencies or royalties. So essentially, the Planning and Development Department is trying to, I guess, buy the design at its basic state for the prize money that is awarded. And if any plans, of course, are changed or any adjustments need to be made to those plans, Planning and Development will pass along the contact information for the designer. That contact information will also be listed in the design booklets as well, and you will have be fully noted as the person to contact. It is not on Planning and Development to make any changes to those plans or to adjust those in any way. Is that helpful? Okay. ADUs can take many forms. Will I be required to stick with a certain building type? No, you can design any kind of ADU that you would like. The design categories that will be included in this competition are sustainable/resilient, garage, detached, and affordable. So you can enter into multiple categories, as we said before, and that will be in your design packet. There will be a place where you can indicate which categories you feel you fall under. And you can enter a detached or garage or any other type of ADU that you would like. So, oh, another question in the chat. Will it be a hypothetical site and site dimension? Nope. You can use your imagination and pick your own site and dimension that you would like. There is no limitations to this. We really want to see your best designs and push yourself in whatever way you feel is most appropriate. I would say that it is for the city of Houston, so I would keep that in mind when thinking about sites, but there are no sites chosen. Who owns the intellectual property of the design if selected as winner? So the architect remains the owner of the intellectual property, and the city of Houston is owner of the plans that go through plan review. So the architect slash designer, excuse me, because I know some students may be also participating in this, is the owner of the intellectual property of all that is selected, even if it's not the winner. Even if you are just submitting in the design phase for the booklets, you own your own intellectual property and will be properly noted as such. In all publications, anywhere it's posted, anything that is produced from these, that will be the owner. There is also, I think, a legal statement that you agree to upon registration, and we can forward that out again just to make sure everybody is clear on those. Are there any other questions? Oh, so Eddie, who is our graphics guy. Hi, Lindsay. So the creator will own the intellectual property and the city will have the right to reproduce and distribute as we see fit. Is that correct? Yes, with making sure we note whose property it is. So if we like put it in a newsletter or any other publications on a website, we'll definitely make sure that it is known that this is not our design, or and make sure the designer is properly noted. No problem, Eddie. Any other questions? Can we get that written format? Yes, you will get all of that written format from legal as well. That should have been a checkbox on your registration form, but I will make a note to make sure you get the legal statement in your design packets as well. So it is made very clear that this is your intellectual property.
Lindsay, the link that I provided in the chat links to that document.
Okay, awesome. So the legal document, as Lynn said, is linked if you want to reread it, and I will make sure that we get you a PDF format of that in the packet. Is there a more detailed description of each of the 4 ADU categories? Nope, that's as detailed as we are. Honestly, there are no limitations in this. Just whatever you feel is affordable, i.e. as in affordable to build, or that could be used for affordable housing. Garage is, I'm going back. Detached is a freestanding ADU. Garage is an ADU that would exist above someone's current garage structure. And sustainable and resilient is either sustainable and resilient in building material or in construction and design. Is that helpful? Yes, Devin, the city agrees to notate if in any publication, correct. And also, we really want to use this design competition as a way to promote our design professionals in the city. We see a lot of interesting things that come through when it comes to getting things constructed. So we would really love for the public to also know that design professionals are readily available for them in the city of Houston. So we are making a point to make sure that your names and contact information are included in all publications. So people will seek out these services to help increase the density in the city of Houston if they choose to add an ADU. Do we enter only under one category type? Can a design be entered into multiple? Yes. Designs can be entered under multiple category types. So if you feel your design is sustainable, detached, and affordable, please, when you get your design packets and on the template, indicate all three of those, and you will be entered under each category type. And also you will be noted under all of those types in the design booklet as well. Any other questions? You also feel free to speak if you don't want to type in the chat. You can just raise your hand and I can make a note of that.
And for anyone that's on the phone, *6 to unmute and *6 to mute yourself again.
So I'm just going to run through a little background while we're here. Or Lynn, if you would like to talk about Livable Places and how it correlates with this.
Sure. Thank you, Lindsay. The Livable Places Action Committee is a subset of the Planning Commission that is looking at the city's code of ordinances to basically enhance walkability, affordability, and equity. And the committee has been meeting for about a year. And out of the discussions in the committee work, we applied for the AARP grant in an effort to provide more education about ADUs and conduct this design competition to bring more focus and energy to ADUs, as well as the other items that Lindsay mentioned earlier in the presentation. So our hope and goal is that there are some 3,600 ADUs already in the city, and our hope is that there will be more in the future. One benefit for having ADUs in one's backyard is that a neighborhood is able to continue the same character. So for communities that don't want the look and the feel from the street view to change, this is an opportunity to add more housing to single family property and it not change the character along the street line. So this is really exciting, and our conversations in Livable Places continue. If you'd like to follow any of those conversations or even speak at the public comment period at the end of the meetings, you can find that meeting information on houstontx.gov/livable-places. And they meet basically monthly.
So Devin Robinson asked, what about historic districts?
Oh, ironically, yes, if they can be in historic districts. That's a good question. I need to confirm that they would have to go through HAHC. But looking at the past designs of houses from their original construction, Houston Heights is the one super neighborhood that has the majority of ADUs in it. 22% of the ADUs in the city of Houston are within the Houston Heights super neighborhood. Oh, thank you. The next slide. Yes, so this is a map that just gives you an idea of where the ADUs are in the city of Houston. Just a little bit of information while I'm going. 11% are currently within a half a mile of a metro rail station. District C has the most, with covering about 40% of the ADUs in the city. Greater Heights, as I mentioned, 22%. Afton Oaks, River Oaks, 13%. University Place, 8%. And out of those 3 super neighborhoods alone, that is 43% of the ADUs in the city of Houston. But I will, being that it's in the back of the property, I do believe that it has to go through HAHC for historic districts, but I will confirm that, and we'll post that information online and provide that also in the design packet.
Devin mentioned they have one and it was an issue in First Montrose Commons. So Devin, I think Livable Places would be an awesome initiative for you to join in and to give public comment as well, because I think that's feedback that they're kind of looking for, and insight that they would need in moving forward and examining the ordinances. It does get a little murky. So last night there was a workshop. Sorry, I'm trying to get this in. That spoke to these, the support of ADUs, but I don't know, Lynn, if you would like to review any of this information.
Sure. So not only is Livable Places looking at ways to provide additional housing options and variety, it's also supported in Plan Houston, as well as Resilient Houston. I won't read the entire quotes that you see on the screen, but one of the tenets in Plan Houston is to foster an affordable city, and they speak to encouraging mixed income neighborhoods and enhancing quality affordable housing choices. Resilient Houston actually has, and I'm going to quote 24.2, this goal is to integrate accessory dwelling units into existing neighborhoods. So as you look around the city, there are different documents that support continuing ADUs in Houston's development.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just so everyone knows, as I mentioned prior, the grant was inclusive of a series of workshops. So this initiative is also trying to help residents as much as we can. There will be a how to build an ADU workshop that will happen in September. Financing an ADU that will happen in October, which is great because they will see your amazing designs and then hopefully look at how to buy them and how they can also secure funding to take it through construction. And the design presentation, we have yet to determine you know, in this COVID world, what that will look like, but we have slated in January. We would like to have some of the designers back to make presentations about their ADU designs. So I guess, are there any other questions? We'll leave it open for the next few minutes. So again, your design package should go, well, you definitely will have them by September 4th, if not sooner. And they will include pretty comprehensive list of information. Is anyone unclear of any of the requirements, or are there any other questions surrounding the competition at all? I see some dots. Good for Mayan, awesome. Thanks for putting this all together. No problem. Thank you all for joining. I think this is a great, it's going to be great for Houston, and it's going to be great for the design professional community as well. And we will try and make sure pushing the ADU initiative in Houston is successful. Great. Thank you, Devin. Again, if there are any questions that come up later, there is a questions box on the letstalkhouston.org/ADU page. You can enter in questions at any point and we will respond to you. And also, if we think those questions are not person specific, we will post that publicly so everyone will have access to that information. We're also posting our workshop recordings online, and this session will be posted online on the ADU Let's Talk Houston page as well, so everyone will have access to that. Okay, I'm gonna give it a few more minutes just to make sure everyone gets their questions answered if you have any. So just a few general things. If you would like to submit more than one design, we just ask that you register again. When will those be posted? Questions that are submitted online will be answered within 1 to 2 business days, if not sooner. Oh, the videos. So the video from yesterday will be probably
Up on Monday.
okay. And
Link to the site on Monday.
this video will be posted by Monday as well. So I would say 1 to 2 business days after a presentation or workshop has occurred. They will then be posted to the Let's Talk Houston ADU page. You're allowed to enter multiple categories, as we stated. If you have different designs, please register again and just maybe indicate design 2 or design 3. Submit as many as you like. We would love to see all different renditions and perspectives. There is no particular site. You're free to imagine anything you would like. I would like to mention this is for Houston though, so let's keep that in mind when designing. A design on a mountain would probably not be applicable. I think that's it. And the legal language, again, is posted, and I'm just going to repost the same link that Lynn has already posted, and we will make sure that that gets included again in your design packets. So if you have any questions about who owns the intellectual property, how these designs will be used, and what is the legal language that will be placed on your actual design in terms of liability, you can check that link and we will also send this to you in your packets via PDF. Okay. Any more questions? I'm gonna give it 4 more minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat, or if you'd like to raise your hand and talk, that's also available as well. Oh, Devin mentioned looking forward to working with you all. We have a very long history with the city, and this is a great endeavor. Thanks again. Thank you, Devin. Thanks so much for joining us. We're very, very excited about the interest, and we're looking forward to all of these designs. I think it's going to be an amazing design book. I'm very excited to see it. Alrighty. Any more questions or comments? It's looking like I can give you all back a lot of your Friday, at least 10 minutes. We'll give it 2 more minutes, and if we don't have any more, we will close this session. Lynn, would you like to say anything?
I just wanted to have a round of thanks again. Thank you, Lindsay, for pulling this together. Thank you for leading the session. Thank you, Eddie. He is our graphics designer once again. And I hope I have some blessing from you, the way that I use this graphic today in this presentation, but I'm excited about how the design book will come out. This is some of Eddie's work on the first page. And thank you all again to all of the people who have joined and the designers who will submit designs to us. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, it's almost 12:50. Thank you all. Thank you, Lynn, for leading this entire initiative. And thank you for letting us be part of this team and help. If you have any questions for us, please don't hesitate to put them on the website. If we missed something, please, please, please let us know. We would love for this to be as successful as possible. And we look forward to your submissions, and we're very excited about this initiative and all of the interest that we've been able to gain so far. So with that being said, unless anybody has anything else, I'm going to give you 10 minutes back on your Friday.
Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Bye.